Right now at 10, an alleged serial rapist now off the streets. Police walk through how they found him, as they say they believe he had more victims. Then disturbing new allegations in a Minnesota transgender man's murder.
What human being could do what happened to Sam?
The new charges, as prosecutors say children were involved in his torture.
A chilly night tonight with clear skies and light winds. We'll talk about how quickly it will warm up.
Plus, peak excitement at the X. Hear from fans as the state boys hockey tourney gets underway. And how a group of high schoolers help lure a multi-million-dollar company to their town.
We were blown away.
The news starts now.
We'll have those stories in a moment, but we begin with two breaking stories tonight. The first out of Hudson, Wisconsin. At this hour, officers are on the scene investigating after finding a woman's body inside a house in Hudson. That gruesome discovery came after an hours-long standoff. Police say they were doing a welfare check at the home and were speaking with a man on the phone when they became concerned there was someone else in the house who was in danger. They say the man refused to come out, but after hours of negotiation, he eventually surrendered without incident. During the standoff, police told neighbors to evacuate or shelter in place. They have since lifted that order. Another breaking story tonight, just in the last hour, word that a Sun Country flight from Minneapolis to Mazatlan, Mexico was diverted to El Paso, Texas, after what the airline called a security concern. It is not clear yet exactly what happened, but Sun Country says everyone on Flight 593 is safe, off the plane and in hotels tonight. The airline says it's working with law enforcement to investigate. The FBI also issued a statement saying it has personnel on scene right now at the airport, and that because this is a, quote, ongoing situation, they won't be releasing further details at this time. Well, right now, an alleged serial rapist in St. Paul is in jail, arrested after a nationwide search. St. Paul police linked 18-year-old Rakai Davis to at least 3 sexual assaults on St. Paul's east side. St. Cloud police arrested him earlier this week. Tonight, police in both cities are sharing new details about the search and his arrest. And they told our Raya Katene they believe more victims may be out there.
18-year-old Rakai Davis is facing multiple charges of criminal sexual conduct, and he was previously arrested in connection to one of these assaults, described in court records as a rape at gunpoint. But he posted bail and got out before DNA evidence linked him to the other cases. He's now being held without bond in Ramsey County.
I actually went to the commander and said, I think we have a serial rapist.
An alleged serial rapist, now behind bars after police say he sexually assaulted 3 women in St. Paul, first in May of 2023, then again in November and December of last year. 18-year-old Rakai Davis was taken into custody in St. Cloud on Monday after a nationwide warrant was issued for his arrest.
It's a pretty heinous crime.
Commander Eric Skog and Sergeant Nicole Bardot work in the sexual violence unit for St. Paul Police.
They're complex cases.
It's something that's going to be with these victims forever.
They say Davis used weapons, including a knife and gun, to threaten women he'd met online as he sexually assaulted them in alleyways. Court records show one victim said Davis slid a knife across her neck. I thought he was going to kill me, she told a nurse during a sexual assault exam. Stab me or shoot me.
To violate somebody in this way, it's just an awful thing.
A combination of DNA evidence, surveillance video from neighbors, and detective work helped Sergeant Bardot and investigators connect the 3 cases and track Davis down. She believes there are at least 2 other victims who've not come forward, and she hopes they know they're not alone.
It's something that's so violating, and bringing the person who committed that to justice and having them be held accountable for their actions.
No matter the circumstances, we just encourage people to come forward one way, shape, or form, another.
Ramsey County does offer victims and survivors of sexual violence a number of options for reporting assaults if you're not comfortable going directly to police. You can talk to an advocate instead and explore your options from there. We do have a lot more details about that right now under the story on KARE11.com, and Davis is scheduled to appear in court on March 28th. Julie.
All right, thank you, Raya. Well, right now, temperatures are dropping as we head into one of the coldest nights in a few days. Let's head out to Belle for a first look at our forecast. Hey, Belle.
Well, Julie, after all this snow comes on down, you get colder temperatures. That's just kind of how it works. It kind of refrigerates the situation. And with the winds dying down and the skies clear, everything is set for a chilly night. So in the last few hours, we've dropped from 31 down to 23 here at 10 o'clock. And that tumble will continue. Looks like we'll start the morning out at around 15. The good news is the winds will be much lighter. And as you note, they're switching from the north to the west and then eventually to the southwest. So that's going to bring in a little bit warmer air. You can see the sun will be out bright and shiny right away in the morning and throughout the day tomorrow. So right now it's 23 here, 19 in Bemidji, and a quiet night on track compared to last night, of course, and it will be down to 15 by morning. We'll have more details on exactly how much snow fell and, of course, how warm we will get over the weekend and beyond.
All right. Thank you, Belle. Disturbing new allegations coming to light tonight about the torture and murder of a transgender man from Minnesota. Most disturbingly, police say a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old were compelled to participate in his torture. Joe McCoy has the new details.
What human being could do what happened to Sam? We'll never make sense of this case.
Less than a month after Sam Nordquist from Oakdale, Minnesota, was found dead in a field in New York, the Ontario County District Attorney's Office charged 7 people with first-degree murder for his death.
It specifically requires that we prove that all 7 defendants tortured Sam Nordquist and that they did so because they enjoyed it. That's what murder in the first degree is.
According to the indictment, between January 1st and February 2nd at Patty's Lodge Motel in Hopewell, New York, Sam was physically and sexually assaulted. He was also forced to eat feces and drink urine, prevented from using his phone, denied proper nutrition and hydration, and had bleach poured on him.
They physically restrained him. They forced him to obey their commands, treating him like a dog.
In addition to second-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping charges against all 7 suspects, Precious Arzuaga, Sam's online girlfriend that he traveled to New York to see, is charged with first-degree coercion for compelling 2 children to assist in the torture.
We have a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old who are also victims. They may have been forced to participate, but their lives are forever changed by what they saw and endured in there.
Prosecutors say there is no indication of any prior victims to Sam. If convicted, the defendants face a sentence of life without parole. Joe McCoy, KARE 11 News.
Well, prosecutors expect the suspects to be arraigned in the next week and a half. Sam was laid to rest yesterday. His family did not comment today on these updated charges.
I'm Rena Sargentopoulos with more headlines. Check your beef. Minnesota's agriculture department is recalling thousands of pounds of it they say may have BB pellets or metal shot. The Lakewinds Food Co-op in Richfield sold the Thousand Hills Local Farms beef, and the packages have lot codes of 25024 and 25034. If you have it, you should just throw it out, or you can also bring it back to the store. Right now, Target is in the midst of a new 40-day boycott. A prominent Atlanta megachurch pastor called for the protest to coincide with Lent. The boycott comes as Target faces backlash after rolling back DEI policies. Pope Francis is starting the Lenten season getting better in the hospital. The Vatican says he had no more respiratory crises today, while increasing his physical activity and getting oxygen through a nasal tube. The 88-year-old pontiff also received ashes in the hospital.
Well, a packed Minneapolis Park Board meeting tonight, wrapping up in the last few hours as people discussed a controversial change to how families sign up for spring and summer sports. The board launched a centralized registration that would guarantee everyone who signs up gets a place on a team. But it also means pre-existing teams would not exist anymore, which some say will impact Black and Native players who rely on long-standing relationships.
Imagine having to sit your children down and say, hey, your coach can't coach you anymore. Mm-hmm. The person you've been learning from, that father figure, those brothers, you don't get to play with them anymore. They're about to assign you to some strangers, and we just gotta hope for the best in the end.
In a statement, the Park Board superintendent said he appreciates the feedback and that the board is working to refine the process to make it meaningful for everyone. Well, as we speak, 2 high school hockey teams are on the ice at the X, battling it out in the boys' state high school hockey tournament. There's nothing quite like the tourney that just got underway today. Julia Daniels joins us with the latest on the single A game just wrapping up and a preview of tomorrow. Hey, Julia.
Hey, Julie. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and I think as the kids say, the boys are buzzing. I think that's the term. This is peak state of Minnesota and hockey truly, I would argue, in its most natural element. Let's talk about the late showings tonight. All single A quarterfinals today. At 6 p.m. we did see Hibbing Chisholm, the top-ranked team, prove why they are the 1 seed. They took down Laverne with a resounding 7-0 win. And right now, Northern Lakes and East Grand Forks are battling it out in the late showing. The current score of that one, 2-0 East Grand Forks. The winner of that one will play Hibbing Chisholm on Friday. And also on Friday, the other semifinal is between Orono and St. Cloud Cathedral. And tomorrow, it'll be the AA teams starting their tourney journeys. Those matchups start at 11 a.m. and run through an 8 p.m. puck drop, so pretty late. If you miss it, we'll keep you updated right here on KARE 11.
Oh, it gets so exciting. Thank you, Julia. Well, it's always electric at the X for the tourney. Just in the last few hours, KARE 11 photojournalist Ethan Sam captured some of that excitement.
Welcome to Xcel Energy Center.
The hockey state tournament in Minnesota, whether it is boys or girls, is like no other in the rest of the country.
Playoff hockey, who doesn't love playoff hockey?
The Xcel Energy Center is pleased to host the Minnesota State High School League Boys Hockey State Tournament.
We're here to support our team.
Yeah.
Lightning.
We're cheering on the Laverne Cardinals.
I kind of want Hibbing to win.
I want Stillwater.
I want St. Cloud Cathedral.
Grandson plays for East Grand Forks.
Hibbing.
Yeah.
Laverne.
No.
The box office is located at Gate 1 on Kellogg Boulevard.
Go Blue Jackets, because we're the best. Yeah, we're going to win.
I've got Laverne pride in me.
Well, hopefully they win.
They're going to win.
Not hopefully. We got to be positive.
I think it's going to be a close match. Tight game. 4 and 5.
Good job, Grandpa. He's seeing this on the news.
I'm excited for the intros. The student section.
When the players skate up, say like, hi, Mom, they always do something fun with their hair.
Got to see the flow for sure, like the hockey hair.
I'm here for my alma mater. The last time I got to see them at the state tournament was when I was in high school in the 1980s.
I graduated from Laverne in 1998.
Just looking forward to a really great game tonight.
We are glad you are here.
So much fun. We'll have it all covered for you in the next few days. Well, there's still 3 weeks left to help us fight hunger in the state, and we would love your help to make that happen. We have partnered with the Salvation Army and Cub Foods to help families struggling with food insecurity. We're raising both money and non-perishable food items, which you can drop off at dozens of locations around the metro. If you'd like to help, just scan the QR code on your screen or visit kare11.com/give11. There you can pick a team and learn more. An update this afternoon shows Team Bell in the lead with more than $1,200 raised. Combined with my team and Reggie's team, and all of you have helped us raise more than $2,700 so far. The KARE 11 food fight lasts through March 26th. Coming up on KARE 11 News at 10, just hours left to claim your share of a $32 million settlement over a parking app breach. Plus, the commute, not great this morning, unless you're her. We'll be right back.
A big new manufacturing company is preparing to break ground in Minnesota by the end of this year. Its unusual mission.
This is just a block of iron, one of the most recycled materials on the planet.
And why the community can thank a group of high schoolers for helping to attract them.
We are blown away.
Coming up next.
There are a lot of reasons companies choose a particular city to open their businesses, but perhaps none quite like the one that recently lured a corporation to break ground in Minnesota by the end of this year. Gordon Severson shows us how a high school robotics team helped attract a multi-million-dollar magnet company.
When the school bell rings at Sartell High School, the school day may be over, but the learning doesn't stop. For the Sabre Robotics team, every practice is a lesson in trial and error. Every mistake is a learning opportunity. And in the early years of the program, students say they did a lot of learning.
When I first came into this, we were lucky if we had a moving robot.
Paige Erickson,
really lucky if we had a moving robot,
joined the robotics team in 3rd grade.
Yeah, that could be an idea.
She's now a senior and a team captain.
I really am passionate about what we're doing here.
She was on the team that won 2 back-to-back local tournaments and then went to the World Championship 2 years in a row.
We've done really well.
Coach Ryan Swanson says these kids are amazing. So he wasn't surprised when he got a phone call from the city of Sartell asking them for help.
And they said, gather a couple kids. We want you to make a presentation to these representatives from a company that's looking to move to Sartell.
The company was Nyron Magnetics, a company with a single mission: to create a better magnet that is better for the environment.
Just a block of iron, one of the most recycled materials on the planet.
They break the iron into tiny particles and then add nitrogen,
which has these amazing magnetic properties.
Using a high-powered press, they can shape this powder into magnets that can be used in countless products we use every day.
It's like this electric guitar.
From musical instruments and speakers to car parts and cell phones.
Magnets are used to make the world go round.
After years of research and development, the company is now ready to sell their magnets to companies around the world. All they need is a new facility to make them.
We actually looked at 75 different sites in Minnesota. We down selected to 15 and then to 5.
A team of top executives visited all 5 cities, including Sartell, to see which one would be the best fit. And they were blown away when they met the Sartell Robotics team.
That was the only robotics team we saw of any of our locations. This team came out, these young people, they looked us in the eye, they showed off their robot, they spoke eloquently.
The team also built this custom-made medallion, welcoming Nyron to the community.
We were blown away when the team came on stage and handed us this medallion. We were all speechless, honestly.
And the leadership team thought, well, if we're going to be hiring 185 people soon, perhaps these students could one day be our employees.
A lot of the skills that the robotics team works on, it's not just the technical and being able to build a robot, it's about teamwork, right? It's about working together to solve problems.
A few weeks later, Ryan got another phone call from the city announcing that Nyron was coming to Sartell.
It's like, oh my gosh, the opportunity in front of us is incredible.
Even more exciting was the company saying his students played a big factor in their decision.
So getting to be a part of it and be part of bringing that into our community has been so cool.
It was like, ooh, I actually did this.
The company's plan is to break ground on this 80-acre piece of land here in Sartell by the end of the year and to be making magnets by the end of next year. For the robotics team, it's another lesson that when you work hard and commit to something, people notice.
A lot of manufacturing is kind of going away a little bit, so getting to pull it back in a higher level makes me proud of my community.
In Sartell, Gordon Severson, KARE 11 News.
Well done.
Super impressive.
And what a great teacher, too. I mean,
right.
That's awesome. Well done, kids.
I love that.
And they're just getting themselves some employment before they even go off to college.
Yeah, potentially.
I like it.
You never know. Oh, my goodness. They're going to do great things. All right, so we got a bunch of snow, and I thought I'd look at how it changed how much snow we've gotten this year, because it was the biggest snowstorm of the season. That didn't take much because we haven't had very much snow, but this was a doozy for many of us. The folks up in St. Cloud, of course, did not see a lot. And then as you get down toward the Twin Cities, it went from 4 to 8.5 in Stillwater, 4 there in Long Lake. And then you get to Woodbury, Lakeville, Dakota County, Southern Washington County. A lot of those areas did see right around 10 to 12 inches of snow. So with that, officially we had 9.5 at the airport for the 2-day total. So that brought us up to 25.6, only 15 inches behind. We were sitting, obviously, around 25 inches behind. St. Cloud is about 10 inches behind for the season to date. And there you can see in Duluth quite a bit. My goodness, by this point in time in the season, they should have 70 inches of snow, and they've had 43.6. They did not get a lot of snow from yesterday's snowstorm, really affecting mainly southern Minnesota. So now what's going to happen is a lot of quiet. So this is the snowpack as of this morning as the snow wrapped up. Bullseye of around 10 to 12 inches in the southeast suburbs, all the way down to just north of Rochester and then up toward Red Wing and over toward Menominee. And that matches what's on the North Shore and on the South Shore in far northern Wisconsin. The least amount of snow is right off toward Alexandria, and we didn't have any snow 24 hours ago. So this is a huge improvement on that snowpack, which will help the drought scenario situation. So just think of it as well-placed irrigation. That's not a bad thing, right? But I know it was difficult to get around this morning for sure. Very dangerous, lots of accidents. The snow is gone now. Clear skies, light winds, and a sunny Thursday on track. Clouds will roll in later in the day because we do have a storm system to our south that we will completely miss out on, but the clouds will roll in. Look at the peak wind gusts. Wow, 59 in Jackson, 52 in Rochester, 44 in the Twin Cities. They were not advising any travel in that southern portion of the state during the overnight hours and morning hours. And here are those peak wind gusts at the airports around the metro. So for today, we did top out at 33, and there you can see we're 15.7 inches behind. After midnight, we had 6.8 inches. Here are the current temperatures across the region, and we have plenty of sunshine on track and really no major weather system coming in the next 6 days or so. So clearing skies tomorrow, 16 and 38, 20 and 35 Friday, 23 and 42 Saturday, 27 as we spring ahead on Sunday morning, 46, and then we're in the 50s next week, as you can see, with a shot of some precipitation next Wednesday. All right, Sports with Julia is coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Just hours remain for anyone involved in a parking app data breach to submit a claim. Almost 21 million people had their names, phone numbers, addresses, and license plate numbers exposed in the 2021 Park Mobile breach. Minneapolis parking app was using the Park Mobile app at the time of the hack. If you're eligible, you get up to $25, but you have to submit a claim by 2 a.m. Well, the roads are much better now than they were this morning, but folks had to get to the office somehow, right? So check this out. Becca from Northfield shared this video of her mom, Ruth's commute this morning. The plows hadn't come through yet, so she skied to work. We're told her office is about 2 miles away. Once she got there, her office mates were very accommodating, even giving her her own parking spot. Well done, Ruth.
Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm Julia Daniels. We start sports tonight with the boys state hockey tournament kicking off today. It was the single A quarterfinals, beginning with St. Cloud Cathedral and Matamidi Cathedral. The 2 seed takes this one with a final of 3-0. Next game, it's going to be number 6 Orono and number 3 Northfield. And Orono ends up on top of this one with an 8-2 lopsided win. Then we move to the 6 o'clock matchup, and top ranked Hitting Chisholm versus number 8 Laverne. As expected, Hitting Chisholm takes this one with a final of 7-0. And the late matchup, 5 and 4 Northern Lakes and East Grand Forks. The latter just won 2-0. Those semifinals are set for Friday. The Timberwolves were in Charlotte tonight, and this Minnesota team has been on quite the tear. I expected a win, but it's also a back-to-back, so things can get unpredictable at times, right? Jaden McDaniels and his offensive efforts have been nothing short of incredible lately. He tied Ant with 29 tonight. All 5 starters were in double digits. You can't ask for much more than that. They take down the Hornets with a final 125-110. Tough day for the Gopher women's basketball team, though. I think there was quite a bit of hope for this squad ahead of today's matchup with Washington. They've been much better this year, and their efforts just fell short today. They end their season with a 79-65 loss to Washington. Sticking with Gopher hoops, to the men's side of things, guys, I really had hope for this one. The men put together quite the effort as they hosted number 12 Wisconsin for the last home game of the season. Brendan Rigsby led the Gophers charge with 18, but no match for John Blackwell for the Badgers. He put up 25 tonight. Wisconsin takes this one 74-67. Down to the prep hoop scene, we've got St. Anthony at North St. Paul for section quarterfinals. Pick things up in the first half. Duke King for North St. Paul with a crossover and one. Anthony with a lead later in the half. Gallatin Catilla hits that one. They go on to take this one 66-57. And over at East Ridge for another section quarterfinal, White Bear Lake in town. East Ridge's Cedric Tomes, the standout. He sinks the tray for the Raptors. It's going to be Cedric again. He makes easy work of this matchup. Ends up with 41 points tonight. That's the end of White Bear Lake's season. Final 91-57.
Woo, lots going on in sports.
Yeah, it's a fun day.
So much fun. Thanks, Julia. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you back here tomorrow.